looking down the road just like I always do.
Well, good morning, Matrix. How are you doing today? I am doing well. My name is Philip. I am the person who runs this little channel, The Inner Road. And you're joining me today on a beautiful road in Charlottesville on a Saturday morning. A crisp autumn morning on the bike. Gotta love it. I am heading to Batesville for an inaugural motorcycle swap meet organized by some local folks here trying to foster a local motorcycle community. If you're in the Charlottesville or even in that general area, check out Firefly Moto, Mark Wheeler and others. They're the ones locally who are able to work on bikes if you need it. Not many options in Charlottesville, so it's nice that they exist, and it's really cool that they're organizing a lot of bikes and coffee events, and this first ever, but hopefully semi-annual motorcycle swap meet. I'm gonna try and see who's there, see if there are any cool bits, maybe pick up. I got plenty of gear, but you know, you never know. There could be something nice, something worth looking at. Coming over this hill. Okay, you go. You know, on this ride, I just was going to talk a little bit about. I got off Facebook. I'd been on for many years. In 2019, I deleted my account officially, and hadn't been on since just a few months ago here. So 6 years was off Facebook happily. Getting into the motorcycle experience, I wanted to meet some folks. I wanted to help be a part of building a community. As I've already mentioned in one of my other videos, wanted to expand my social network. So I got back on Facebook, and it's worked. It's surprisingly, obviously there are things about it I still don't really love. I try to do my best just to stick to the community and the people I'm meeting and those connections, fostering those. It's worked out so far. Worked out really well. Wanted to get past that truck with some bikers. Got a biker up here, a bicyclist. Let's see what we're doing. If I can get around this person once I clear the turn. Yes. And I was on the feed the other day, and I saw a little meme. Lots of good memes. Boy, I love my memes now. Yeah, they're addictive. They make me laugh. Most of them. There was a good one for a motorcycle. It just said, you could fake a lot of things in life. Riding a motorcycle isn't one of them. And, you know, I've only been riding for about 3 months, so I'm a newbie. I get it. But it's true. You know, you get on this bike and, you know, it'll teach you real fast if you're a phony or not. And that's kind of what I like about it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I love about it. But I do like that when I get on this bike, it forces me, as I said before in one of my earlier videos, it kind of forces me to be fully present, mindful, vigilant, all at the same time. Really interesting kind of combination of things that it forces you to be. To be safe as best you can, to enjoy the ride as much as you can. But it's true, you know, there's just no room for inauthenticity on this bike. The bike knows what it wants to do, knows what it's capable of, and it's important that you know who you are and what you're capable of and what you're responsible for on this bike as best you can. These are the lessons that I'm learning every day that I ride, and I do ride every day. And that got me thinking a little bit. Just wanted to pontificate a little bit about authenticity. I know a little bit about it. If you decide to watch episode 4, where I talk about some of my 20 plus years of research into mortality awareness and accepting our fate, our mortal fate, part of that involves living authentically, being honest about our mortality, the fact that we're going to die, not denying a key core part of who we are, not being motivated largely, predominantly by external expectations, right? Choosing from an intrinsic place of who you want to be and how you want to be. That's authenticity. And I know a little bit about it specifically in the fact that I actually conducted some research with a colleague of mine, my best friend in the world, Silke Paulman, Professor Silke Paulman at the University of Essex. This is a few years back now. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about it because I think it's kind of a cool study. Now, what do we mean when we say authenticity, right? So I kind of hinted on it there a little bit just a moment ago. What we're talking about is a sense that you know who you are truly at some deep core level, that you are connected to an identity that resonates with your values, your core beliefs, right? And that you see that your behaviors are in line with those values and those beliefs, right? That you feel as if you're living agentically with agency, autonomy, choice, not just being directed externally with obligations and expectations that maybe are unsatisfying, right? This core connection to some you that you know more than anyone else, better than anyone else, even if it's still a work in progress, right? That's authentic too. The fact that you may still be a work in progress. We all are. So what did we do? What was this research that we did that I wanted to share with you today? Because I think it's kind of cool. That's my impression of it anyway. Well, what we did is we had about 40 people come into a lab in the University of Essex, and we asked some of them randomly. This is, classic experimental design. Don't want to bore you to death. Thank you, good sir. Never been down this road before, so beyond here lie dragons, if you know what I'm saying. Should be good. Little tight turn. Nice. Ooh, look at this. I'm in the tail of the dragon. No, I'm kidding. Never been here before. This is fun. Look at this road. Woo! Wow. Okay. That was cool. That was brand new. Good stuff. All right, so we brought people into the lab and we randomly assigned people to the authenticity condition. And then we had a control condition, as you do. And in the authenticity condition, we asked them to tell us a story. We recorded them speaking. And we said, we want to hear from you about a time in your life. Tell us about a time in your life when you felt like the most true you, the most real you that you've ever felt. There's a standard sort of manipulation that folks in that literature use. So they told us, they just told stories. We let them have some time to think about it, and then they told us their stories. And then the other group, the control condition, we said, we want you to tell us a story about something really mundane that you did in the past week that was just standard. I always do this, right? Like example, well, I woke up and I brushed my teeth. So again, nothing to do with being authentic, at least in some core or deep meaning. Just, boring, mundane life event. So they did that. And then after all the people in the two conditions did one of the two stories, either the authenticity, the authentic tale about themselves when they were the most true to themselves, or a mundane task that they did like every day, we asked them to read 14 sentences. And the sentences were completely unrelated to them in any real sense, right? They were like, I am currently in the Department of Psychology at the University of Essex. It is currently the year, whatever it was, 20-something, and the President of the United States is whatever, right? So these were just like basic factual statements, and everyone in all the conditions read them out loud into the microphone. And then, I hope I'm not too boring, then we had a bunch of other folks who had no idea what we were doing, right? They had no idea what was going on. We just had them listen to those 14 sentences, and we had them rate, and they were just randomly listening to people. Could have been in any condition at any time, right? So they just had to rate them as the tone of the voice. Does this person's voice strike you as authentic? Does it sound like they are an authentic person in the tone and the quality of the speech that you're listening to? And again, these were statements that were just completely boring, nebulous statements. I am currently in the Department of Psychology building at the University of Essex. And guess what we found? So this is kind of powerful about authenticity. So what we found was in the beginning, when the sentences that everyone started speaking of the 14, the ratings for authenticity were equal and relatively high. So people were like saying, yeah, the person sounds authentic, sure. But as we went through the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way to the 14th sentence, what happened is that the control group, the people who had just told us about a mundane task, very quickly, the raters, the people who were listening to these boring sentences, started saying, no, they don't sound that authentic to me. They sound phony in a way, I guess you could say. But the other group, the authenticity group, the people who had told us about a time in their life where they felt the most true to themselves ever, they stayed a flat line all the way through. 14 sentences later, these raters, who had no idea what they were listening to, had no idea about the conditions of the study, no idea what was going on, they continued to rate those folks as sounding authentic, significantly more so than the control group, which is astounding, really, because what it says is that if you're authentic, if you hit a moment of authenticity in your life, it matters, it stays there, it persists. Even though you're done speaking about anything really truly meaningful, right? Now you're just talking about, who was the president and what day of the week it was. But because you had earlier been talking about the most authentic moment in your life, it generated a state of authenticity that persisted. And other people who had no idea what we were doing could pick up on it, could sense it accurately. It's really kind of cool, right? So, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today in conjunction with this study that I think you might find interesting, and I hope, I'm on my way to this swap meet, I'm going to take some video of that and give you a look at that at some point too. I'm going to try and figure out how to cut this all together. We'll figure it out. But the other thing that was really cool about our results, our findings, is, and I've actually started writing a little book about this. I'm calling it The Authenticity Tales, because we have these people telling us stories about when they were their most authentic self, when they were the most true to who they believe they are. And this is the lesson I learned from this study that I want to pass on to you. If you want to be more authentic, if you want to figure out and get more in touch with who you really are, don't be waiting for some Hollywood moment, right, where the clouds part and the sun shines down on you and ta-da, in some magical moment, suddenly you become fully authentic, because that's not the way it works. You should see the stories these people told about being their most authentic self, being the most true to themselves that they've ever been. It was stuff, it was events that you're living right now. It was special moments with someone that matters to them. It was spending time with someone who was dying, that they cared about prior to that person actually dying. It was learning about a family member who meant the world to somebody and learning that they had passed away. It was, in one instance, it was literally saving an animal. It was rescuing a cat on the side of the road, right? So I guess all I'm saying is I think it's important for us to remember that, like, sometimes I think we anticipate that these grand moments are going to occur for us in life and that they're going to be obvious and they're going to be epiphanies and earth-shattering moments that guide us and show us the way and that we can suddenly start fully living. What a beautiful field of flowers. I got distracted. Squirrel. So yeah, it's like we think sometimes that we're going to get this sign from above in some mystical way, and sometimes people do. I'm not discounting that. I'm simply making the point that if you want to be more authentic, if you want to live more fully, and you want to feel more connected to the person that you believe you truly are, start paying attention to the shit that's going on right now, that you're doing right now, because it's happening. The stories, these tales that these people told me, the tales of their authenticity, they were beautiful in their simplicity, in their how mundane they were to some extent. We are living our lives today. I did it before, I'll do it again. Having been a musician, I told you that I speak a lot about my favorite singer-songwriters and lines of theirs. And Simple Song, probably my favorite all-time singer-songwriter, John Mellencamp, has a song called Your Life Is Now. Your life is now, in this undiscovered moment. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Stop waiting for some other sign that you think is around the corner, around this lovely winding bend. It's here, right now, in this undiscovered moment. You're living the most authentic life you can if you pay attention to it, if you lean into those moments, and if you see them for what they are. I try to do it as much as I can. I fail all the time. But hopefully that'll be a simple lesson to learn from today. Take it, leave it, do what you want with it. I always appreciate you checking out my videos, my channel. It's a small channel. I know that. I know that my mom enjoys it, so I'll keep doing it for her. That's okay. I'm going to leave it here for now, folks. Lean into life. Lean into being authentic. Find your own way. Don't be guided predominantly by other people's expectations of you. Think about who you want to be and look for signs every day that you actually are that person, because I guarantee you it's happening right now. All right, guys and girls, men and women, thank you so much for listening, checking out the channel. Ride your ride. Be safe if you do ride. I hope to see you in the next one. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and we'll see you on the next video.